Joining us now, Meenakshi Lekhi, member of the BJP, Sanjay Jha, co-founder of HamaraCongress.com, Krishna Prasad, editor-in-chief of Outlook. Thank you all very much for joining us. Sanjay, let me come to you first. Will a cabinet reshuffle by itself do anything to seriously impact the image of this government? An image which a lot of people say is of a government that doesn't do as much as it should be doing.
I think that has largely been a very manufactured strategy of a lot of opposition parties in India. It's actually, in my opinion, it needs drastic repositioning. And as we all know, Vishnu, end of day, a week is a long time in politics. And I'm glad that the UPA has recognized the reality that end of day the perception needs to be managed, because the government has actually ended up with some very significant milestones. And I'll give you one example here of Aadhaar, which doesn't look like a very sexy kind of a scheme which typically gets a glamour appeal like Lokpal did, but end of day is quietly and will be one of the most transformational initiatives of this government. Or for example, the right to education, the initiatives taken in terms of health for the poor people of India. And Narega has been an outstanding success story. So I think UPA needs to really get the marketing and the communication of the same going forward. As far as the cabinet reshuffle is concerned, I don't think this is merely a tactical move, because end of day, you need ministries to function well. Now, there is a lot of talent within the Congress and the other members of the UPA, and with the next another 1.5 years to go for the elections, you don't need just to have the party functioning well. You need to have a government that's delivering on the larger issue of public services. And I think the
all right, Sanjay, let me just interrupt you over there, because we've got some breaking news actually coming in as I speak. Now, there are indicators that Rahul Gandhi could in fact end up being the working president of the Congress party. It's still not 100% confirmed at this stage, but what we are being told is that this is very likely. So it's a cabinet reshuffle at one level. On the other hand, as far as the role of Rahul Gandhi is concerned, the possibility of him being working president is quite significant. I'd like to get Meenakshi Lekhi to quickly react to this development if it happens. Transformational as far as the Congress is concerned, does the BJP have a view on it?
Absolutely none. I mean, this is their in-house story. They are free to manage it the way they think is best. And if they think Rahul Gandhi is a good choice, so be it. I mean, I don't think BJP has any comment to offer so far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned. Good for them, whatever they think is right.
And what about the cabinet reshuffle? Again, an internal matter?
No. Cabinet reshuffle affects the government and is talking about governance. And Sanjay gave a very eloquent lecture on what governance is all about. All I can say is it's too little, too late, and realization after 8 years have gone past with misgovernance. And he talked about 2-3 schemes, whereas I can talk about 100 such scams which this government has offered. So under the circumstances, I think it's more of an eyewash. And as he talked about, the government needs to market itself. So I look at it from not marketing strategy, but repackaging strategy. But there is too little to select from, because end of the day, you are going to pick up those very people who are involved in one or the other scam, and there has not been a clear. Mostly. That's how this government has been functioning, and this is what this has been.
Okay, Meenakshi, I just wanted to bring Krishna in over here. Firstly, Rahul Gandhi as a potential working president of the Congress party, how do you see that affecting the Congress? I mean, a lot of people thought he may end up being a minister, but that's unlikely to be the case, as news now suggests.
Vishnu, I think we could make the mistake of speaking too early on the story. Everything you say about Rahul Gandhi, the opposite could well be true on Sunday. So we really don't know. But that's it. If he does become working president, I have to recount what MJ Akbar so beautifully wrote a couple of weeks back, that every time Rahul Gandhi chooses to work, he can be the working president. So I mean, frankly, it's going to enthuse the party cadre of the Congress for a while, but is it going to dramatically change fortunes? It's too early to say, but on the ground, if you look at his record in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh and so on and so forth, there's not very much to choose from. But I agree with Meenakshi in the sense that I would actually, transport her argument about the reshuffle to the working president bit, which is that it may be coming too little, too late. And I do think that the jury is still out on whether he will really come in. But if it does come in, it's going to enthuse the cadre. But how much will he be able to do so? You're really not sure, because he's a tested commodity now, not quite like what it was in 2004. One last point: in 2004, when Dr. Manmohan Singh took over, the general belief was that he was basically warming the seat for Rahul Gandhi.
Right.
If 8.5 years down the line we are still talking about that, it tells us three things. Either we were completely wrong in the media, or B, Manmohan Singh has been a spectacular success, or 3, Rahul Gandhi has been a bit of a disappointment. Right. I think the fact that we are talking like this today at this juncture tells you what the story is.
Meenakshi would agree that he's been a spectacular success. Yes. I have no doubt about that.
Absolutely, he's been a spectacular success, and I wish him the same, and I wish him the same success in future also.
Okay, I just on another note, SM Krishna, Meenakshi, do you have a view on him? A lot of people felt that he was a largely ineffective foreign minister. A lot of people said that diplomacy, the way we practiced it for decades, has been middle of the road.
No,
so
question,
his cautious style, a lot of people would say worked.
My question then would be, why and how did a person like him continue for so long? And why and how a person who was involved in mining scam, indicted by the Lokayukt report and so on and so forth, was brought to the center and continued as a minister. So if you remove him or he chooses to go right now is of no significance to me. I will go back to how this government has been functioning for past 8 years.
Sanjay, you had a comment on that, SM Krishna?
No, I have two comments really, Vishnu. Number one on Rahul Gandhi. It's a very standard operating procedure for everyone to talk of Rahul Gandhi and straight away say the Bihar results and the UP election results. I think in a politician's career, election results are just like, a truck driver on a highway. You cross multiple milestones is part of the process. The most critical aspect is that he's been a quiet worker, working on the ground, strengthening the party, because if you want a Congress government at the center, he recognizes the party has to be strong at the ground level. Now, he is not a typical soundbite politician. Mr. Nitin Gadkari is, and we see the consequences
not really.
of that kind of a
not really, Sanjay. He doesn't speak all that often.
We'll talk about Mr. Vajra, Mr. Sanjay.
End of day. No, let me.
Yeah, go ahead, Sanjay.
Yeah.
End of day, the critical aspect is that Rahul Gandhi is always under a very harsh public scrutiny that analyzes every step and action he takes without recognizing that end of day he's made some significant contributions to strengthening the Congress. I forget about NSU and IBC democratization, which has been an extraordinary success. The other part is the way he's fought for the marginal and the deprived sections of India.
All right, fair enough. Sanjay, I'm interrupting you only because we've got another two important issues.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.